Tammy, the animal whisperer, is walking with Oreo down the road and the baby lamb. The livestock whisperer. The black and white Nigerian dwarf, that's Oreo. Got the two Boston Terriers, Poe and Lady, and Poseidon, the boxer. And then the black and white goat, that's Oreo. And the white lamb, that's Shadow. Today I thought I'd start with a little bit of an update. So you see in our last episode, or last episodes, over on the side over here, alright, we have the water coming down, see the gulch above, coming into here, and weeping out of the hillside over the side here. But you can see the water is down here, and it's flowing over into our duck pond water holding area. And how do I accomplish that? Well, we got these, well, this is part of one, but I got like 4-inch drainage pipes, culverts, and I took a garden hose, which is powered by the water in our cistern up above, comes through at 50 psi because of the elevation. With the elevation you can get the water pressure. And then I took this tennis ball and I cut like a star in the end. I cut a hole in the end. You can see that. I cut a hole in the end on both sides. And then I took a hose nozzle, this hose nozzle, right here. I took this hose nozzle and I stuck the ball over the end, right? And then I turned the hose on. Well, I took the end of that hose and I stuck it in the 4-inch drainage pipe culvert. And first I started at the low end down here and I stuck the garden hose in the end. And then I decided to take the other hose, that red hose, and bring it up here and stick it in the ends of these culverts. And I pushed it all the way through that as far as I could get it. The ball kept it from hanging up on the sides, and also acted to block some of the water backflowing. And then I took these lines here out of the water and I held them up and I built up some water pressure in there, and I'd wash it back and forth on the inside, and then I'd dump it, and I cleared out anything that was in the lines, and then the water dropped. So that's another lessons learned from on the off-grid homestead here. You got to keep the culverts and the drainage clear of debris. So it's been draining. We got a little bit more rain on the way for the next couple of days. Like today, it's got rain in the forecast, so it will rain sometime today, probably once the sun starts to go down. But other than that, it's pretty pleasant as far as weather-wise. It's in the 40s, low 50s probably. Not warm, but not uncomfortable. And the year to date, we've gotten from October till now, so you got October, November, December, January, February, March, 6 months. 6 months we got, according to the statistics, we've got about 32 inches of rain this year, which is about 33% above normal. It's about 10 inches. We've gotten about 10 inches more rain this year, and it's caused a little bit of havoc. We're going to make sure that our drainage systems are proper. We're going to operate the sawmill some today, and that way there I can get some 2x. I got some 2x cut. They're not cut down to height. They're all cut to 2 inches. So they're true dimension 2 inches. So I'm going to cut them down to about 4 inches, make 2x4s out of them, so that we can start closing in the animal shelter addition for Tammy. She's got the sheep that's growing, and then the goats, they're growing. And down here we get some of Tammy's turkeys. They're all free range. You know, the native turkeys are like a gray brown. Tammy's turkeys, they're all kinds of colors. White and black turkeys, some up here. People have asked if we've had issues with the wildlife and the turkeys. Tammy puts the turkeys away every night. They come home, calls them, and then she puts them in the pen. But she has had, I think, since we've been on the homestead and she's had the turkeys, we've had two turkeys disappear. But those turkeys have been known to travel up to 3 miles, and then they return home every day. So they're traveling pretty far, and we've had 2 disappear. So we haven't had an true issue with the bobcats or any of the wildlife. So we're gonna get those wood cut so that we can get working on that animal addition. And around the bottom of it, I'm going to use metal, and then from about 3 feet up, it will be all wood, probably like a board and bat type of look. Go for a little walk through BLM. It's a good way to start the day. The creek level has dropped significantly. Tammy has Poe. So we have Lady and Poseidon. Got to keep them out of the brush. The ticks are pretty bad. I've already had a tick once this year. Well, actually, no, I've had 2 ticks. And they, not like when I was young. You know, when I was a kid, I got bit by ticks, but I think they're a different type of tick. You know, this is West Coast. You know, in our videos, you see these signs right here, federal mining claim. That's from when they were people. That's actually a recent one, but the person that was registered to, that he was a guy. He, when I looked it up, he passed away. But all along this creek, there are past and present mining claims, and you can actually go online and look them up. And our last video, I talked about the water pressure, and how we got led into that was with the rainfall and the increasing water level and the amount of power that the water has. So you got to make sure that you've you have prepared for that, and you can't just work to what the issue is right now. You kind of have to go above and beyond that, because when we have extraordinary events like this year, we could say the rain, we've gotten 10 inches more rain than the average over the same period of time. So you get like a surge of water. And you have to be able to allow for that overrun. If you don't, the water is going to win. It's going to go through. It's going to go through, over, or through. It's going to go through, over, or through what you've done. And if what you've done isn't adequate, it's going to get wiped out. It's kind of with anything. There's a saying, right? And it pertains more to people and work. Even if you're on the right track, if you stay still long enough, eventually you'll get run over. And it's kind of the same way with dealing with nature. You know, if you're not constantly working on it, eventually you'll get run over. I could tell you that off-grid living can be humbling. You really kind of find out what you do and do not know. But the big thing is how fast can you learn? You know, when you're performing actions or duties, right? It might be the first time that you're doing it. You know, gather your experiences, maybe reach out to others and do it. You know, we've been doing this. I've never lived off-grid before. You know, we have property in the wilderness. We arrived, nothing was there, nothing was prepared really. Eventually we installed the solar system. We prepared areas, we prepared an area. We installed our solar system ourselves, right? We've got 600 of 48 volt we have 600 amp hours of 48 volt battery storage. I got 24 560 bifacial 560 watt bifacial solar panels that's installed right now. We ran all the underground subsystems, ran all the wire, we connected it all up. I do have another 12 additional solar panels that I eventually will be adding to the system, but it's all doable. You know, were there mistakes along the way? Most definitely. And we've recorded a lot of it. You go back, you can watch episodes where different things happened, and I'm sure some of those things are directly my fault. But I learned, and I won't do that again. This year we've started on, well, last year we started on footings for the timber frame. Have I ever built a timber frame? No. But we got the footings established last spring. That was a bear, mixing and pouring that much concrete. That was a lot of work. This year we started laying the sub base. We'll get that done. We'll get the timber frame stood up. The goal is to have it dried in before the wet winter months start. And then dogs are running off. Sided. We got training and tracking collars on the dogs to keep track of where they've gone. And I almost think that Shadow, the lamb, is almost a better animal. At least he doesn't run off. Poseidon, he hears something and he thinks everything and everybody is his friend. Where'd you go, Poseidon? So we have these, I'll show you. We have these collars, and we have them on all the dogs, and then we have a tracker with them. So come here, Poseidon. Poseidon, come here. So this is his collar, and you get a little remote, and you can hear it. It does that, and then it vibrates, right? And then if they were doing something really bad, which that's like the last resort, there's a shock, and then you could adjust the level of all of it. So you can like turn the chime down. I'll turn it down. See? That's quite, hey, quieter, different sound. But you could turn down the chime or the vibration, or even the shock. But you need something, especially with this great big, you got the big dog Poseidon. He can be a little obnoxious, and when we've gone tromping through the forest, he likes to take the lead, and he'll disappear. He knows where you are, you just don't know where he is, because we'll come out and he's sitting there waiting for us. So he thinks he's the leader. Hey, but back onto what we were talking. The goal is to learn something, and then pulling in from your past experiences. You know, a lot of us have different types of experiences, or more experiences, but you pull in from all that knowledge and you make your best educated, I'm not going to call it as, but your best educated decision to complete what you're trying to do. And research. So where we're at here, we have no what I would call public utilities. So public utilities, that's utilities that are available to the general public. So if you live in civilized society, there's electricity, there's water, there's septic, there's sewer, internet, TV, all those types of things. And where we're on the cell phone. Lady, leave the chickens alone. The puppy. The puppy chasing the animals. Which isn't good. Paul the Boston Terrier, he likes to go for things, hind legs and their legs, and he'll latch on and he won't let go. So you kind of have to keep him under control. He's great at herding the animals. The thing though is if he gets one, so coming in the next several days, we're going to be up into the 70s, maybe even 80s. So we're coming back into another some unbelievable weather. We're going to take advantage of that. We're still working on getting I'm not paying retail price for sheet metal goods, so I'm going to I'm working on getting a wholesale account. Let's get this day started. Okay. We've got all our 2x that we cut. We got 2x. I got a 2x. This is like a 4 or 5. Yeah, that's 5 1/4 by 10, and then 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I got 4x, and I got my 2x stacked up back here. We need to cut these down. Excuse me. We need to cut these down. Something's in the air. Put all these boards back here with Tammy. I'm going to get to take them back out. These are just rough cut 2x. And you see here, I got some of the bark still on here. The problem with leaving the bark on the wood is that's where the bugs like to hang out. They get between the bark and the wood and they work their way. I'm going to cut these to a minimum of 4x, I believe. So I want to make sure my backstops are below 4 inches so I don't accidentally cut into one. We've proven in the past that if you can, you will, 3.5 inches, you will run into a backstop. I got the scars here to prove it, the cut marks on these tubes. These tubes are inch and a 3/4, inch and a 3/4, look like 1/4 inch thick. We haven't used the mill in quite a while. I want to, at the very least this year, is get a cover over the power head end of the mill. And I've said in the past, I want to do it like an old Western store front where you have the square front facade, the face. So this mill is 16 feet and mobile. It doesn't necessarily mean you can cut a 16-foot log on it. Oh, I haven't measured it. Got to make sure I'm below the 4-inch mark. So, yeah, maximum 16-foot log. But I have another. We've got another. What do we have? We have extensions for another 14, 15, 16 feet. We have extensions for another 16 feet, so we can cut a 30-foot log. Once I get that set up, I got to build that out too. Oh, we got one board here. So we're staying towards the power head end of the mill, make it easy. Anytime I'm out this far, we have a tendency to just miss the end. We need to stack all these boards up on ends so we can cut them to width. Right now they're all cut to 2 inches, and we're going to cut the 4+ side. These 2x came from the logs when we cut the timbers for the timber frame. So this is all really good 2x material. Old Douglas fir. It's been wicking up the water. Starting to grow some mold. Really short period of time. So we're gonna, on the timber frame, we're gonna do something to kill all that. Oh, life experiences. So, back when I was younger, because some people I'm young, but back when I was younger, I had joined the Marine Corps. I got life experiences from that and some of the survival type stuff, and I was in the Persian Gulf War. Oh, yes, the military, one of the things that it really taught me was you can adapt to your environment, no matter what it is. Back then I was in my early 20s, and I used to think of it, we were like captive dogs in a way or whatever, but that taught me we could adapt to our surroundings fairly easily, and you can. It's all a state of mind. And then sailing. I lived on a 34-foot sailboat for a while. That was a life experience, and learning to live with battery power. That was a fairly simple battery recharge system. Hey! Recharge system. It was 12 volt. We had a wind generator. We would, between the diesel motor and the wind generator, and if we were plugged into shore power, and when we were underway, the wind would keep the batteries charged. So that was back when we were on the East Coast. But what are you doing, lady? Now I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna go down. I'll base this off our probably thinnest board. Let's get this one. I'm gonna go 4 1/4. So some of the boards will be thicker than that. We'll go 4 1/4 from the bottom. 4 1/2. 4 1/4. Alright, 4 1/4. So we did that, lived in the boat, and then eventually we got a larger boat, got a 38-foot boat, and we sailed with a little bit of the Northeast. Historically, we had sailed in the Pacific Northwest out of Newport, Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest, and then we sailed some on the Columbia and out the Columbia River, and then we went to the East Coast. I'm originally from the East Coast. We went out to the East Coast and we sailed the Northeast, and we basically sailed through the Elizabeth Islands down to Montauk, Block Island, Cuttyhunk, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. But so we haven't started this in a while. Let's see how it goes. Started right up. So you can see we took in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We stacked 7 boards side by side that were cut to 2 inches thick. And we're going to cut them to like 4 1/4. Some of them are going to be wider than that, but the thinnest will be 4 1/4. And we're going to use those as the, I guess you call them fairing strips on Tammy's animal shelters. There's a little bit of sheep in there. sawdust. This, we use it in the garden, or you can use it for if you got like a composting toilet. You need to unload the mill. See, so our narrowest boards are 4 1/4. Yeah, this one's almost 5 1/2 by 2. What we're using them for, it's not critical. But like I said, we're using these so we can, like bearing strips, horizontal, so that we can connect the siding. All the rest of these boards on the mill, they're all at 4 1/4. Four and a quarter by 2 inches. And that's dimensional, it's not. This is all rough cut lumber. If you've ever worked with green lumber, you can realize how heavy it is, especially with it sitting in the rain, so it's soaking up water like a sponge. These 4x4s are actually measuring out at 4 1/4 true dimensions. Lady? Jeez, they weigh a ton. Lady? Paul? Paul? Lady? Okay, who's getting in? Go ahead, lady. Come on, lady. Get in. No, come here. Good girl. You're a good girl. Come on, Paul, get in. He's got to learn. Got the sawdust. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, sawdust. I got the sawdust. Oh. It's actually amazing if you do a composting toilet, it doesn't smell. Tammy's getting ready for her beehives again. The initial bees that she got didn't make it through the winter. There weren't enough bees to sustain the hive. So the bees will keep the hive warm and within the proper temperatures. They cool it and heat it. You don't have enough bees, it's unsustainable.
Oh, let everybody know that we got Oreo back.
Yeah, where's Oreo?
Oh, he wanted in.
Oh, you put him away?
Yeah, he was our boy goat and my neighbor adopted for a little while. And
Yeah,
he wanted to come home, so...
When he was intact, he was out of control.
And, so... he wanted to come home yesterday. I was over at our house and he tried to bust through to come with me, and we went and got him, and he actually walked all the way home.
Uh-huh.
Right in front of us. He led the way. It's so amazing. He knew exactly where he was going.
Oh, what are they playing tug of war with?
You ever do that?
Yeah, I did.
I have tag along here.
What do you have?
Right here.
Oh, Shadow.
I love him.
I think he knows his name. You can't see his horns yet.
No. He's soft. He got a little bit of milk.
He gave him milk.
I've been cutting back on his milk and giving him more solids.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
bugs.
The Bostons are playing tug of war
In the bugs.
in the brush. The ticks in the cold weather, they'll go down into the
Oh, I had a tick walking on my back last night. It was gross.
they'll go down into the leaves and stuff to stay warm. But the trees are all starting.
What are you doing?
The trees are all starting to bud. These oaks, they got buds on them. You can see them. There.
Oh, I can see Oreo out there.
Is Oreo? Where's Oreo?
Way up there.
Outside? I can't see him. Yeah, see the
No, you're pointing,
leaves.
you're pointing. You gotta go down. You gotta go down. To the left. He's a good little boy.
There's Oreo. Oh, Oreo.
Oreo! Come here! I see you, Oreo.
Yeah, we can walk up the road.
Here he comes. Hey, Oreo. He
Oreo.
knows his name.
Does he?
Yeah. I called him Oreo because see the black dot or circle on his butt? See it right there?
Yeah.
It looks like an Oreo cookie. That's where he got his name.
We got the original goats were what? Elvis,
Oreo. Duchess and Brandy.
There he is.
Oreo! What are you doing, Oreo?
Where's Oreo?
He was my lap goat. Remember? I got pictures
Oh yeah,
of
you
him.
got poison oak from Oreo.
I was kissing on him.
Yeah.
He was real little. He'd sit on my lap, Brandy. He'd sit on my lap.
The videos in the beginning. Look, he's coming. Oreo.
I put a bell on him.
He knows his name.
I put a bell on him. I was trying to get a bell on him, and he ran off. And that's so I dangled it, and I said, when you're ready, let me know when you want it on. So I was over there getting some hay.
Hey.
So I was getting some hay, and he stepped on his hind legs and looked at me and started loving on me. So I put the bell on. So you ready for the bell? And I put the bell on, and he actually put his head on my shoulder. And then he broke away, and then nudged his nose on my cheek, and then gave me another hug
So what do we have?
on my
Like
shoulder.
2 days of rain?
And I gave him a hug.
We have like 2 days of rain, and then it goes up into the high 70s, 80s.
Yeah, I gotta go get another
Well,
grass cutter.
Sunday. I don't know if you can do it on Sunday.
I don't know.
But Sunday's like sunny and 80.
Well, I'm gonna work on the barn. I gotta do that because I got 2 ewes that are gonna be coming.
I cut the 2-bys. You got the
Huh? Shadow? My
Shadow.
little shadow. Shadow wants to break.
the Boston's. Tenacious. That's the thing about bosses. Would that be the word? Tenacious?
No, terrorists.
They don't give up. Even though she's a puppy, she's not giving up on that ball.
Neither is he.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I bought that ball and he killed it in one day. It was dead.
Yeah, Poe, if you get the dog squeaky balls, first thing he does is pull the squeaky out.
You know why? So it doesn't cry for mercy.
And then he tears apart the ball if they don't last. Poe, 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 Poe. What are you doing, Poe, Poe? That's
She flipped over. And we gave him Babs yesterday at the pet place.
that's why they're doing this, so they can get dirty again. Alright.
They won't like to go to the tractor supply. They'll say, oh, that's going to be the bath.
Coming to the end of Whoa! Whoa!
What was that all about?
He does. He sounds like mean. No, he's all.
Because now what can I do?
No, they're not going to give up on that stupid ball. All three of them.
Maybe they'll lose it in the forest.
Oh, why do you have to keep doing that? All right, we're coming to the end of a productive day. We got all our 2x cut so that we can start putting the purlings or the fairing strips up on the animal shelter. He just keeps going. If you haven't had your best day, it's all about attitude.
Babe, why don't you put it where you can see your eyes? You had it way down there and you're looking at me. I'm like, and you're looking at me. I was like, what the fuck?
If you haven't had your best day, right? It's all about attitude. Just change your attitude.
Yeah, change your attitude.
And
God bless.
God bless.